All right, so welcome to tonight's wind down session with yours truly, Cynthia Newell. I'm so grateful that you're here. I hope you all had a wonderful day today and that you are ready to wind down and connect with God, connect with your dreams, connect with yourself. Um, in preparing for tonight's talk, I was asking God, what do you want me to talk about tonight? And nothing came until right when I clicked start to come in here, come in the room. And so the question that I want to propose to everyone is, when was the last time you sat in silence? There was no phone. There was no television in the background. There was no noise of any sort. You wasn't praying. You were just still. When was the last time you sat still in the silence and just listened? When was the last time that you allow yourself to do nothing? There are so many things that we have to do and get to do in this life, and they all feel and look equally important. I have a list of things that were on my January to-do list. Half of them are checked, and then half of them are not, because there's always something to do. And sometimes when I take that time just to do nothing here lately, I wrestle with thoughts of wasting time, mismanaging time, not valuing time. But there comes a point in our day, in our lives, where we need to allow ourselves to sit and do nothing, to sit and say nothing. And there's this belief that was going around for some years in the world, this thing called quiet your mind, where you just sit and you quiet your thoughts. And I have found that to be very misleading and personally a lie, because the thoughts are always going to be there. The goal is not to quiet them, but to focus on them, to see what it's in there and what is true and what is not true. What is yours, what is God's, what is irrelevant, what is for now and what is for later. And when we give ourselves that opportunity to just sit and be still, we become one with ourselves. We become one with God. We're not asking for anything. We're not seeking. We're not trying to knock on heaven's door about anything that we talked to God about prior. We're just sitting and being. There's something safe and secure, at least I have found, in just being. Not doing all the time, not seeing what you can have, but just being. It's such a solemn, calm feeling when you can just be. And so, in this noisy, chaotic world, the monkey mind is always going to be present with us until we train it by sifting through the thoughts and eradicating what belongs and what doesn't, what's true and what's not. But even there comes a time when you just have to sit and just listen, and not to sift through them, just to let them roam free. Not to, I think of thoughts sometimes like horses, or some may liken them to paths, not to go down the path that the thought is offering you to go down, but just being aware. But when we can sit and be still, we can sit and be quiet, that's true peace, you know? We're not worried about anything, overly concerned. We're not trying to figure out anything. No solutions are being sought after. We're just sitting in the presence of God, just being still, being quiet, being fed, being replenished, being. And so once we end tonight's session, that's what I'm going to go do. Sit and be still and be quiet. Because today has been full of voices at work. My daughter hasn't had school all week and she doesn't have it tomorrow. So full of her little voice, her singing, her talking, her questions, her rants, her jokes. Today has been very little time of just being with Cynthia. So I'm going to go in my closet, shut my door, keep the lights off, and just sit still and quiet. Because what I have found in doing that is like you're being charged, recharged, because you're allowing yourself to relax. I remember when I got sick in 2015, and I've shared this story before, but I just feel led to share it again. And I had gone to the doctors. They couldn't tell me anything that was going on other than, you have severe anemia. We don't know why you're losing blood. And just utter frustration. I just said, okay. So I remember, I think I took off work one day because I was just so ill and I just didn't have any energy or any strength. I was like, I'm going to wrestle with God until I'm not going to let him go until he tells me what's going on. But I didn't do all that. I just sat still in the middle of my living room floor in the quiet. And I asked God, what is going on in my body? And I didn't rush the answer. I allowed the information to come up. And it was then that God said, you have cancer in your body. No one or nothing could tell me that outside of me. And it was that moment that I realized the strong power of communion, but also stillness, quiet, so you can really hear. And sure enough, when I went back to the doctor and I asked them the first time, do I have cancer in my body somewhere? And they was like, well, no, nothing is indicating that you have cancer. Your blood cell counts look fine and all of that. But I knew what I had heard. And so as things progressively were getting worse, I'm like, God, you told me this, so they need to find this. And sure enough, after a period of time, they did find it. And I'm so grateful to God that the people this time, they didn't let me go. They said, we need to find out where you're losing blood. So we're going to have to keep you. And they were able to find through testing what made them do a colonoscopy. They said they needed to find where I was losing blood. But I share that story just to say, the answers that we are seeking in life, the direction that we're asking for or that we have asked for, the problems that we have laid at the altar, the things that we're believing God for, God will speak loud in the silence. And so when was the last time you allowed yourself to just sit still, sit quiet in the presence of God and just be? And if it's been a while, do it now. Do it now and just be, and you'll be surprised at what will come up. Joys will come up, memories will come up, things that you've long forgotten about will come up. It's a beautiful experience, and it's a perfect way to wind down from the day and from the world. And so, if you find time tonight, offer yourself the gift of silence, the gift of stillness. And I pray that you have sweet dreams tonight and sound sleep. So, thank you for joining, and I hope you all have a great evening.